Debt service coverage ratio, DSCR. What the fuck is that? Let me tell you. It is actually a very important handy-dandy metric and a useful way to leverage your real estate growth. So, it is actually a metric and a loan type. Those are both correlating to each other because what the DSCR ratio or DSC ratio tells you is how much money that property brings in versus how much its debt costs. So to service a loan, aka debt, to service debt, you're going to have a purchase price and a down payment and a rate and a term, and that's going to give you your principal and interest payment, usually plus taxes and insurance, your PITI payment, and that debt service can then be used to find out, of course, how much does that sum to in the course of a given year, and then if it's a rental property, what kind of income does that rental property bring in? And is that income enough to pay for the debt? If so, you're going to see a DSCR over 1. If not, let's say the rents are not as good. So you've got only a $1,200 rent and a $1,000 rent coming in on this, let's now say a $360,000 home. Your debt service did not change, but your income did. So the coverage ratio, how we looking? Not as hot. So that's going to put it down here into the not so great 0.8 range. Now, what actually matters when it comes to these, like what says wow versus what is not, I have a little breakdown over here. This is also a sheet that if you've not watched my P&L metrics sheet explanation, feel free to go download it yourself. I have a form full of resources. This can be yours to use. And then these definitions are also in there. Over 1 is good overall. Over 1 means that the income coming in pays the debt at the very least. Once you break over 1.01, that means you've got some money left over, technically. Over 1.2 is great. You got a lot of margin. Any lender would be happy to underwrite a DSCR loan with that, with a lease basing the income. And really, I should say, that is one of the reasons this number is so great, is because what you are now doing when purchasing a rental property is you are using the income that the property generates to be the income source for the loan versus your standard loan process where you are the income to justify the loan on a house versus DSCR that allows you to say, hey, I have this asset. It's bringing in this money. I've got leases to show you that this is the money. They're signed. They're 12-month leases. These people are going to pay this amount of money for this long. The property creates this income. Mr. Lender, do you want some of this money? Of course they do. So they're going to have a process to say, okay, what is the DSCR? Does it make sense? What costs do we want to factor in? And then what interest rate can we offer that person based off those numbers? Which is why there actually are loans that will underwrite for less than 1, because then you're going to use some of your income plus the property's income to have a loan product created and leaned against the house, where you now are also supporting the loan, but the property is helping. So this exists. You can get a DSCR loan for a less than 1 DSCR ratio rate number, but it's not as wonderful as a higher one, which means the interest rate will probably be better. But overall, this is also a way just to pencil out, is this property doing well? Because is the amount I'm paying on the note going to be paid majority share, mostly, I think I was going for mostly by the tenant, which means your money is not the reason that note is getting paid down. You're leveraging other people's money to pay down your debt, to increase your net worth, which is one of the tried and true beauties of real estate, to see that equity gain and that rate affect your margin. But I do digress. This was just to focus on DSCR and what that's for. I hope this was useful. My brain is yours to pick. This is something you can go download if you would like to tinker away. Have a good one.